Hey, what's up, everybody? It's the Loudmouth, your boy Tim, the liberal loudmouth.
And as always, the real Ron right here beside him. What's going on, Tim?
Oh, not much, just chilling, just doing my thing. What
Man,
about
I've been
you?
getting,
I heard you had some things going on online, yeah?
man, I had some, everybody's calling me transphobic, dude. I'm like, man, well, not everybody. Donnie Walker and some dude named Jim Edwards, Stephanie Jane, unblocked me for 2 days. I got 48 hours. I'm like, I'm not even fucking with you. Why are you even calling out my name?
Wait, she unblocked you just so she could talk shit?
No, she said she unblocked me to make sure to see who I was friends with because people are taking screenshots of her post and sending them to me, and I'm like,
Oh my God.
well, she's trying to do the whole Columbo. It was the other guy. Trying to figure
That
out
is
who.
so pathetic.
It's pathetic. It's
That is
bad.
fucking I'm sorry, if you live in a bubble that is so bad that you have to unblock somebody you claim to hate just to try and figure out which of your friends is sending you information about what you post and then talking shit about you where you can't see it but everybody else can. That's fucking pathetic.
It's so bad. Let me read this here. Hang on a second.
Hey, what's up,
Is,
Tina? Good to
is
see
Tina
you.
on here? Hey,
Yeah.
I love Tina.
What's up, Todd? What's up, man? Got a
Yeah,
shout out to our peeps.
I unblocked him to see if we have mutual friends.
What the
But his friend list is blocked. And then they're like, it's a cricket phone. Her friends are like, it's a cricket phone. The screenshots were sent from there, and there's a temp and time. Maybe you can figure it out. Blah blah blah. Fuck off!
Oh
I ain't got
my
time for
God.
you, man. Shut up. Shit.
What is wrong with these
It's a
people?
mental illness. I'm not transphobic. That the very definition of that word means that you're afraid of transgender people. I'm not.
That's fucking crazy, man.
Oh,
That
it's
doesn't make
every
any
day.
sense. You're gonna unblock somebody so you can figure out who's sending you pictures or screenshots or whatever.
Here's
Lady,
the deal. Here's the
lady, you
deal.
need to go eat some fucking cat food.
Here's the deal. She said, I'll figure out who it is, but you could save me the trouble and just see yourself out. He's an antagonist to my family, and I need my feed to be safe from the real Ron Ron.
Wait, how are you an antagonist to her family?
I
And
don't even know her fucking
she's
family.
the one that's always talking shit.
Yeah, she brings it to me. It's just I
And you
know you're
respond to it.
I know you're friends with Blue Dot, but she's the same way. They start the
She
shit,
is.
but they
She
can't.
she
I
is.
I don't go to anybody to start shit.
And I will vouch for the fact that she's the one that did a video about you and you responded and she didn't like it and she blocked you.
Right.
You
Same
know?
thing with Stephanie. Same thing with fucking Donnie and all the rest of them. I don't give a shit if you want to dress up as a woman if you're a dude. I don't care. And I
We
just
used to
said that
call them
today.
cross dressers and it was a
Cross, yeah,
fetish.
right. It was a fetish. It's still a fetish to me. I don't care. Everybody has their fetish. Even I like, I mean, I'm not going to get into what I like as far as fetishes, but everybody has their own fetish. Do what you want to do in your house. I'm talking about public schools.
Yeah. It's fucking wild, man. Like
Ugh.
people pushing their, their stuff on everybody else. And, I feel a certain way. And I tell you what,
Feelings.
we talked a little bit about this last night at the, I believe it was the Republicans of Broken Arrow, the women,
Yeah,
Republican
you went
women of
out. Tell
Broken
me
Arrow.
about that. Well, how did that go?
Yeah, it was pretty good. I retelling the story because I felt like there were some people there that didn't know anything about it. So that was kind of I don't know, it's kind of boring listening to a story like that. But then we kind of got into some conspiracy stuff. And I got to tell you, I've
I
been
know
thinking
you
a
like
lot about this
conspiracies.
stuff. I do, but I can't for the life of me. I couldn't figure out why in the world they would want to be pushing, sex on kids. But then it just dawned on me. It's like, the powers that be, whoever they are, want dysfunctional families and they want people to be able to placate themselves whenever hell has opened up around them because they can't get a good job because the corporations don't want to pay you shit. and they want you to work your ass off. So then if you become a porn addict or a sex addict or some perverse, you can just, have that little moment of feeling good in that moment. I don't know.
Almost like a drug. Is that what you're saying?
Well, yeah. Yeah. I mean, because, the more you do something like that, because it releases the same kind of chemicals that you would get if you took a fucking pain pill. If you took a pain pill, it's the same shit.
That completely. I agree with that completely. I think that maybe what's causing these people to do this.
Think of it like this. Owasso Public Schools in 6th grade center, they had a policy. And I thought it was so fucking weird. They had all the parents in the auditorium, and it was, before the school started 6th grade, and they were like, boys and girls can't fraternize. They have to have the different hallways, for lockers. They had different hallways for lockers, and they weren't allowed to like sit and talk for too long. And I'm just like, what? This is a very important time for these kids to be able to learn how to socialize with the opposite sex. That's an important part of growing up. And you're stripping that very important year, I think, 6th grade, because that was about the time for me that I I started pursuing that. And
in fact, 6th grade was the first time I kissed a girl.
Yeah. So if you remove that developmental process of being able to learn how to socialize, then your ability to form long-term relationships later on is hurt. And then, they won't let you show any affection to anybody while you're at school because it's inappropriate. But then they put books in the library that are just disgusting. So, you take away the affection, you take away the love, and you give them sex as a replacement. That goes to an offense on the family. And I'm not even a religious person at all. I know they brought religion up last night, which, I understand people, that they get into that sort of thing. But from my perspective, it's just human morality. I mean, everybody has a foundation that they know just innately is right or wrong.
Correct.
And I think that's something that is being attacked here, that, they're trying to perverse what we believe is right or wrong as humans. The natural way of things.
I've been battling people on Facebook today, especially because I took the day off. But I've been battling people on Facebook because this stuff that we're talking about is just nasty pornographic shit. It just is. It's nasty stuff.
Yeah.
And I don't think any child should be allowed to look at it.
Yeah.
Unless it's in your own home. And that's your business.
Right.
But I'm not doing it in my house. And people were like, I wonder how much porn he's watched. I'm a 45-year-old dude.
Right.
I'm not a 12-year-old girl or a boy.
Yeah, because the developing mind is very easily manipulated. I mean, the kids will believe that Santa Claus exists for a long, long time, and they'll believe it. If you tell them, adults have a responsibility to teach kids the truth of things, not pervert their sense of whatever it is. To Dana, she has a comment here: if they can break people down into being unable or fearful. Yeah, last night I brought this up too, because prior to the sex thing, the porn stuff being in the schools, I had noticed, and it's been true all of my life, when I was in school, is that they create rules that make no fucking sense whatsoever on their face. And in Broken Arrow Public Schools, in their policy, their like student handbook, there was this list of just ridiculous rules. And it even said that these rules are designed to teach kids how to follow rules. And I'm like, can't you teach a child how to follow rules by having them follow rules that make fucking sense as to why they, not to bring a gun at school, or, not to talk while the teacher's talking, shit like that makes sense. No, what they're trying to do is create people, or at least they have been for some time, create people that are just unthinking. They just do what they're told without questioning it because that's the rule. So
it's called conformity. It's called conformity.
Right. They want to create, and I believe this also came from corporations, because the best employee is the one that shuts the fuck up and does whatever he or she is told to do. So if you can create a bunch of kids that come out of school and they're just like, yes, I will do this and I will never talk back and I will never ask questions, that's the best fucking employee you can have right there. But then
Absolutely.
the ones that question it, well, those are the troublemakers. We got those people go to alternative school.
Right.
It's wild, you know. So critical thinkers often are considered conspiracy theorists because we often look at things from multiple angles, like you know, like 9/11 is a great example. I still to this day don't believe that they crashed down into their own footprint without any other assistance. I don't know if you want to go down this rabbit hole or not, but
I don't, but I mean, we can. You're saying that the government did 9/11? Is that basically
I
what
don't
you're
know
saying?
I don't know who did it, but there was a lot of really weird things that went on around that. And it just doesn't make sense to me that they, I mean, because building 7 fell and it wasn't hit by a plane and it collapsed in its own footprint too. From kitchen fires, it was the propane tanks, they said. Doesn't make any sense.
Oh,
Well, okay, so here's an example of a building, and this is in a third world country. This is a skyscraper, and this thing burnt. I mean, there was just a shell left. The whole thing burned up, like over half of this building. Everything was gutted, but it didn't collapse. In a third world country. Yeah.
And they said that I know in my mind, I'm like, they gave me the reason for it. You know, the jet fuel melted the iron and the iron collapsed on itself and it brought the buildings down. There was structural, whatever. The Pentagon thing, I've never seen a plane, any parts of a plane from the Pentagon.
Right. And this is the most secured location probably on Earth.
Right.
And there's not a single, you know, just a split second of one or two frames of a, you know, camera.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. I get it. I get it.
So
but if you go there and you say your government knew about this and your government was privy to this and was even involved in it, then where does your mind go? Right.
Well, I mean, so that getting bogged down in the details of the who, what, and why, I don't know how important that is, other than to drive home the fact that the government is and has been in the past willing to do this. There is a document called Operation Northwoods that was released, I think, in the 60s, 70s.
They made a documentary about it. Yeah.
Well, ever since I read this thing, I'm like, man, the government is willing to blow stuff up, to kill its own people, to further an agenda. So
what was that about Northwoods? That was about a singular guy, wasn't it? It was
well, no. So the Bay of Pigs was failed, right? And that wasn't even JFK's deal. He came in, they had already had that set up, and they were just, he was like, well, I mean, you guys have all worked this out, I guess, you know, roll with it. Well, it didn't work. And he decided, you know, he was like, no, we're pulling these people out. We're done. And then, you know, he admitted to it and all that, you know, stuff. It kind of made everybody look bad. Well, so then the military brass, they came up with this plan, Operation Northwoods. And what it was designed to do was to get people on board with invading Cuba, full on invasion. Just go in there and take over the country with military. And what they were going to have, you know, Cuban saboteurs come into the country.
They had to be Cuban, right? Yeah,
right. Bombing raids through Miami to scare the shit out of people. They were going to paint an airplane, and blow it up and blame it on the Cubans. They even had remote detonation and, you know, autopilot type.
Yeah, you're going to get us killed. You're going to get us killed.
I mean, it's all out there. This document exists. I mean, you can look, just Google it. Operation Northwoods is a PDF. You can read it. It is, if you read it, I never looked at my country the same, or my government anyway, because I'm like, man, there's no end to what they're willing to do. That's why, just on some level, it doesn't surprise me that the school is still trying to fight back against this, because this is the government that may end up having to relinquish some of its control to say, no, you were wrong.
Right.
Government
It's a
doesn't like to
government
do that.
entity on a smaller scale,
Right.
but still just as powerful.
Right.
Put up Tina. Yeah. Throw up some comments here. These are good.
Yeah, I do agree. It's interesting for any building that isn't professionally imploded to fall straight down, let alone three.
It
Yes,
fell down.
all
It
three.
didn't like fall over.
Right. Yes, they did. They imploded. I mean, you can even see the, the kind of explosions as it's the pancake theory. Hundreds of engineers came out and said that it couldn't happen.
Tina, I will never comply.
Rocket. Yeah. I mean, that's, one of the theories, and I, missile comply wrong. Yeah, it is some crazy shit. So, the government, there are things about our government and the global government, if you will, that we'll never know, that we may never know. But there are actors, there are bad actors that have their own agendas, and God knows what those are. And I believe we are experiencing that right now. And I think all of this plays into that.
I know what you're going to say to this, but I made a post today about a Fox 25 story out of Oklahoma City from Enid, and I'll just read it real quick. Alleged LGBTQIA plus whatever, how many consonants, library programs, public library, not public school libraries, but public libraries. Content of books sparks controversy in Enid. Board members in Enid are calling for an investigation into their local library. 2 books are causing controversy: All Boys Aren't Blue and Honor Girl. I don't give a shit about public libraries.
Right. Yeah, public libraries, you're going to give them too much fuel to argue against it, because then you really are being a book banner, because then you have to literally go out and purchase the book. And I just don't agree with that. I mean,
I don't either.
I just, you have to come at this from a reasonable perspective. I know there are some people that have issue with word books, but unless you go to the most extreme example and start from there, you're not going to get anywhere.
Well,
this is, I don't know. That's crazy to me, to go after a public library.
Somebody on the other side said, so you do agree with the books in the public? Yes, I do agree that all books of any sort should be available to the public.
Yes, absolutely.
And they're like, well, why don't you think that those books should be in the public schools? And here was my point. My children are bound by law to either go to public schools or be homeschooled or go to private school. They have to be educated by law.
Right.
Or I'm responsible for truancy and negligence and all that. I don't have the ability to send my kids to a private school. I don't have the ability to do homeschool. So my kids go to public school. I don't want them to be, I don't want them to have access to that type of stuff in public schools. If I'm a parent and I want to take them to the library and watch and let them read and look at porn, that's my business.
Right.
But public school is not.
Yeah, because when you're at the library, you can go in there with them if that's what you choose to do. But I will say that I would be for some kind of rule or law or whatever, policy that says all content that is, sexually explicit in graphic images should have a fucking rating on it. Well, even in
we do it with movies. We do it with movies,
music, movies, everything, except for books for some reason. I mean, I get the argument that, oh, this is freedom of expression or whatever. Yeah, but it's like, you at least need to warn people what's inside those books.
Right. Isn't movies and music freedom of expression as well, though?
Sure it is. Yeah.
Well, then what's the problem with putting that warning label on books?
There isn't, but I will say that people back in the day, whenever they started doing the rating system for movies, there were people that were opposed to that too. So, I mean, you're always going to get pushback to some degree, but there is a lot of pushback on this stuff from librarians themselves. That'd be like the Hollywood saying, no, we're not doing this. We're not doing this. You know, we're not going to put ratings on our stuff. But then the government forced them to. And that's what's going to happen here. Librarians don't want to do it. And I understand their argument. But at the same time, it is, I think, unreasonable to expose somebody randomly to this stuff when they don't know what's in the book. If they want to seek it out and look at that stuff, fine, you know. I mean, imagine you see a show come on Channel 8 one day and you're just watching. It's just a regular movie. Dude, all of a sudden they start going at it. I mean, hardcore, you know, everything's showing. And you're like, what the hell? You got kids watch. That's what this is, but it's in a book.
Right.
You know, well, there's literary value in it. Well, okay, let's take some porn and put some words around it and let's call it literary value. You know, I don't know. Let's see what we got here.
What we got?
Used to be in the BA public library, all the adult type stuff was in a separate section. That was the 80s though. Yeah, I mean, I'd be okay with that too. Like, you know, if you're under, you know, 16 or whatever, you have to get permission before we can check that stuff out. I don't see anything wrong with that. Now at the age of 16, you know, now we're starting to open up into, that's a little different. You know, the 16-year-olds they already know what's going on. And
this was common sense when we were growing up. You couldn't buy Playboys until you were 18. You couldn't smoke until you were 18. You couldn't drink till you 21. And these are things that we tried to get to as kids, but our parents wouldn't allow it.
Right.
Because it wasn't right.
Yeah, I remember, you know, every time a movie would come on, we'd be watching it. If a sex scene started coming, you know, my dad would, you know, my stepdad, he'd put his hands over, okay, it's over. And I'm just like, really?
Yeah.
I've seen tits before.
Right, yeah.
But it's, you know, it's the manner in which you're seeing them as a child. It makes a difference in your, you know, the way you view things. And
you have to lead by example. And I don't think telling kids that they can do whatever they want to do and look and watch and read whatever they want to read, I don't think that is appropriate as a parent. You may disagree. I don't think that allowing a child to make their own decisions at this point in life, 16 and under especially, is appropriate.
Yeah, see, over 16 and over, I mean, that's starting to get into 17 for sure is pretty questionable. I mean, because the difference between 17 and 18 is pretty minimal. But, you know, younger than that, that's just absurd. Dana said, I think kids 12 and under have to have an adult with them to get a library card. I think that's true. It's been so long. Because I know I was there with them when they got their library card, but
I'm going to fact check the shit out of that, Dana.
But that wasn't because I thought I had to be there. That was just because I was there. I don't think the kids without approval have restrictions on books. They do have restrictions on movies. Right. Now, I don't see why it's you know, a big deal. Also, the computers in public libraries still have strict filters on them today. Yeah, but you as an adult can ask them to remove those filters.
So if you wanted to go to the public library and read the book Blankets on the computer, would you be able to do that?
Well, I mean, it would depend on, you know, because then you'd be dealing with copyright type issues. But in terms of like pornography,
because of filters,
I don't know that they'd be able. I don't know if they would filter out whatever website you're looking at. So it's like a particular item they're not going to be able to filter. They filter websites based on, you know, like content and stuff. So if you're going to an illegal website to download books, it's probably going to be, you know, restricted.
So it's not the images they're looking at in particular, just the website.
Right, from where the content was pulled. Yeah.
Okay.
And, you know, and if you think about it, you know, SIPA was passed, I think, in 2000, and it became active in 2001, and that is what required those filters.
And I just learned about SIPA.
The porn.
I just learned about SIPA through you, so tell everybody else about SIPA.
Yeah, it's the Children's Internet Protection Act. Like schools, I mean, all they get from it is discounts on like telecommunication stuff. So they get discounts on the internet and stuff like that through the government. and in exchange, for those discounts, they have to filter the internet and monitor any outside communication into a email address or whatever at the district level. Of course, that didn't come until like 2009, the monitoring aspect of it. But so then they shut down the porn on the internet at school. So what they do, they brought the porn in through the school
books.
Library.
Yeah.
And
that's what people need to realize is, we got filters on the computers and the phones and this and that, but they can still go to the library. And what does it say?
The Kama Sutra in the library might have sticky pages if it is. Oh my God.
Jesus Christ,
This is just a disclaimer. If you're under, 18, you may want to look away. That's funny. I don't know.
I cannot with these conservative Republicans.
I mean, and people, somebody called me puritanical. They're like, oh my God. I'm like, yeah, I'm far from that, far from it. Yeah. I don't know. I just think that, kids, should be, their development is important, and doing it in a certain way, I think is vital.
Okay.
Because I mean, imagine us without the internet. Well,
I know.
What would kids be doing? Nothing. They wouldn't be looking at any of that stuff. It's not a natural part of our growing up.
They'd be trying to get my Playboys.
Right. But kids know. I mean, this is innate within us. Even if they don't know what they're looking at, their brain says, ooh, that's nice. Even, a 10-year-old or whatever that doesn't have any idea about sex or whatever the age is, they know.
That's the purpose of why we're here, is to procreate. So your body's going to let you know what you need to do.
It's like, I don't know what that is, but I like it.
It feels good.
Yeah. Looks good.
Let's switch it up a little bit. First of all, I have to congratulate a couple of people, Dana Perito, Ryan Walters, and today Chris Banning was sworn in as our House representative in District 24 down in Bixby. So great job, Chris.
Good job, Chris. Yeah.
Chris is going to do amazing things in the state. I can't wait.
Yeah.
Secondly, what's going on with your case? I know your lawyer quit her ass and just said, hey, I can't handle it. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Well, she didn't quite say that.
No,
yeah,
I
mean, at this point, I still don't have an attorney. Just gonna proceed pro se, and we'll see how that turns out. I don't know. I don't have any updates. Last thing they did an extension. My attorney did, however, file the withdrawal in the court today, and her characterization of the facts were spun a little bit in her favor, but it is what it is. Because she wasn't going to withdraw, because she said
that the reason she withdrawed and quit was because she had to spend time with her grandparent or with her grandkids, and she had other parents wanting to take cases and stuff. Are you telling me that's not what was in the withdrawal?
Well, she made a post about that, but that, I don't think she said that was the reason that she quit. In the what she filed in the court said that there were personal disagreements, I think was the language. I'm not 100%. I'd have to pull it back up, but I can say that's not actually accurate either. I didn't have any personal disagreements with her. I was just waiting for her to do her thing. Last thing I knew, she was about to file paperwork. There was a deadline for the following day, and
look,
what's that? Yeah. I need to get your fundraising money to you. I work from home, so let me know how to get it to you.
Yeah,
if it's cash, I'll be around. Just holler at me.
Go ahead and throw up the link for the GoFundMe too, Tim, because I want to share that again. Because Tim,
I really
he's been trying to fight this multi-million-dollar school district here in Owasso that is just taking it to him. And yeah.
And I'm gonna have to do so much work, y'all, that I won't be able to really work, because I mean I spent most of the day still going over the federal procedures and stuff. I mean, let me pull this up real quick. I'll just to give y'all an example of the crap that that I'm looking at here. So these are the federal rules of civil procedure here. And this gives you, you know, how to do things, when to do things. I mean, there's a bunch of crap in there that I have to learn. I've never read this before in my life. And
because your lawyer quit, said I've taken it as far as I can take it. I got other shit to do.
Yeah, I did think it was funny because she said something along the lines of, you know, she set it up where it was so great, and that you know, it should be a winner unless the next attorney fumbles the ball. And I'm like, that's so strange, because you were the attorney that took the case, and the case isn't over yet, and you quit. So, okay. You know,
I can't imagine quitting a case that's so great that anybody could take it over and win it. Why would you do that?
I don't know, man.
I do know, and I'm not going to say on this yet, but I will. I promise to God I will.
Yeah.
Amanda Jeffers came on and said something. What's Amanda?
Let's see.
I'm going to call her Mandy.
Is Chris
Mandy,
going to continue supporting this ban on women's rights to our bodies? I don't how any husband or father could support any candidate who wants to oppress women. So, I mean, the characterization of that, I think, is a little off. I see what you're saying.
I'll say it.
I doubt he will oppose abortion ban. What do you think? I mean, I can't speak for the guy, but
I can't speak for him, but I don't think Chris Banning or any other Republican in the state of Oklahoma that wants to get reelected will ever say that abortion is okay.
Yeah, I doubt it. And, you know, we're not speaking for Chris. I don't even know that I've had this conversation with Chris before. So no, I wouldn't know. I'm just going to assume that he doesn't. But
I'll say this. I don't know Chris's personal beliefs on this, but I know that Chris would do whatever his constituents want him to do.
That is true. That is true. That I do believe.
If the majority of his constituents said, we want abortion legal, then Chris would have to either vote for that or he would resign.
Right. I believe he said something to that effect before.
Right. And this is where I differ from my Republican Party. I would never in my life tell a woman what to do with her body, because I believe more in individual rights than party loyalists.
Yeah, most Oklahomans support abortion rights to some extent. I would probably agree with that to some degree. Yes, to some degree. Like, you know, in instances of rape or, you know, other crazy things like that. But for me, I'm like, let women figure that one out.
Because especially if you're a dude. If you're a dude, you cannot make that decision for a woman.
Right. Yeah, it's.
Sorry if you hate me on that. You just cannot. I know that they're babies. I don't want to kill babies. I want to help the mothers but there are circumstances that I'm like, yeah, you should probably get an abortion if you were raped and beaten. Yeah, I mean, come on, people, shit.
Yeah, so this brings up like a philosophical question about if you took, because they can now put brain cells on, or neurons anyway, on computer chips, and those neurons function, and they can even get it to respond to stimulus, and they can get it to play games. And these are, you know,
the front door.
I'm serious. So at what point do we say that there's less spirituality to life than a lot of people believe that there is, because they can now essentially create it in a dish or on a computer chip? It's kind of wild, right? I mean,
bring up Amanda's last comment. Mandy,
Black
I love you. Mandy, do you want to come on? We'll send you the link right now.
But you'll vote for those candidates, or you are supporting the ban. Yeah, if you want to come on, we can have you on.
Here's the thing, Mandy. I voted for Chris. I supported Chris. I couldn't vote for him, but I supported Chris Banning, not because of his beliefs one way or the other about abortion. I supported Chris Banning because, one, he's an American. Two, he doesn't want my daughter's rights destroyed by confused boys walking in bathrooms. And he believes in the Second Amendment, right to own guns. And he genuinely wants to do what's right for parents and kids.
Yeah, I mean, Chris and I don't agree on a lot of things. We don't, but I think that we're decent friends. And I think he has a pure heart, whatever the case is. And
okay, I won't call you Mandy anymore. I'll call you Amanda.
yeah, I was gonna put that.
Yeah, that's
she identifies as Amanda. Okay,
I got it. I got it.
So but as far as that goes, but I don't like being a one issue voter, and unfortunately, right. I find myself in that position a lot of times because there are some things that some people just that's their cutoff.
Well, it's like you instead,
right? Yeah, and in that issue, of course, there are a lot of things I didn't like about Stitt, but the way he dealt with the natives, I couldn't do it. My whole family's native.
It's like Ryan. Ryan wants vouchers. I know I'm not for vouchers, but I know Ryan wants vouchers. But that's not why I voted for him. Right.
Yeah. If people can be single issue voters, pro Second Amendment, pro choice, pro life, that can and does go several ways. Yeah, it does. And the sad thing about this is that they know a lot of people will, that they have this, line in the sand that they've drawn. And they're like, I'm not going to vote for you if this, or this, even if they agree with them on other issues. That's a way for the government or these parties to manipulate people because they know this. So they're, that's a way to create more tribalism and to get people to not realize that we're actually more in common than most people think we are. Like Stephanie Jane, I bet you if we actually sat down and talked to this person would agree with us on more things than she thinks she does.
I have a 17-year-old. I have a 10-year-old. I have a almost 13-year-old, almost 18-year-old, and I have an 18-year-old daughter. 4 daughters. And if any of them came to me and said, I'm pregnant, I need to have an abortion, I'm not ready, I'm not this, I'm not that, that's her decision. I'm going to make sure that she gets an abortion. I'm just letting y'all know right now. Love me or hate me, that is her decision. Kiss my ass.
Yeah. I guess I'm one of you voted because if I don't have the right to my body, nothing else matters. Yeah, I mean, and there are people. I think that's okay.
Otherwise, you're going to get
serious like that.
Otherwise, you're going to get stuck in the arm with a vaccine from the government. The government has no ability to tell you what to do with your body.
Right. It was funny. I came out to all the liberals that had joined my Oklahomans Concerned about coronavirus. Because the moment I started questioning the vaccines that they rolled out, they were all like, oh, you're terrible. You're this, you should have to take it. And they were pro mandate. And I'm like, well, what if they told you had to have a child or you had to do this? It's like, you don't get it both ways. You either have autonomy to your body or you don't. Of course, that's also true for Republicans. They're telling women what, I think maybe most Republicans, they're telling women what they can and can't do with their body. But then when it comes to the vaccine, they're like, no, I'm not taking it. You can't tell me what to do with my body.
Well, exactly.
So it's, I don't know.
Amanda, my daughters have that option. Not in Oklahoma, they don't. But I can take my daughters wherever I want, New York, California, whatever. And if anybody else needs an abortion or wants an abortion, whatever, they have that option to go and get an abortion. It's just in Oklahoma. And yeah, my daughters will not ever be told what they can or cannot do with their bodies.
Of course, I will say they are trying to prevent that. they're trying to pass laws that say you cannot travel to get an abortion, which to me is way too far.
They better
That's
bring
the
some
government
friends.
saying,
Yeah,
well, you live here, so you can't do it. And if you don't want to, if you want to do it, you got to move out. That's bullshit. That's fucking bullshit.
it is fucking bullshit.
Ban
And
me.
you better ban me. You better bring some friends.
Right. Yeah, it's I think that's way too far. And I would hope to some degree that those who are opposed to, abortion or whatever, would at least concede on that part that that's too much. That you should be allowed, because whenever Roe was overturned, essentially, a lot of people they're like, oh, it's just states' rights. They didn't say you couldn't. It's states' rights. So hopefully those people stick to their states' rights issue. And
They have to. They have to. I think.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've seen people be hypocrites before.
I know, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's move on to something that's not so polarizing. What do you think about religion, Tim?
I mean, I think it helps a lot of people, and I think it hurts a lot of people.
I'm teasing. I don't want to talk about religion shit.
I can pull up my Bible here.
I'm glad we all agree on
this.
I got my
Bible.
I'll work on getting you to prioritize voting. You don't have to worry about my voting.
I'm getting you to prioritize it in your voting.
I'm not voting for Jacob Rosecrans, if that's what you're trying to assume.
Let's see. What is this? A ton of Mary is making it into. Oh, because medical is legal here. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it should be legal nationwide. It should be legal recreationally nationwide, in my opinion.
Oh, marijuana?
Yes.
I can't stand marijuana, but I don't give a shit if y'all smoke it or not.
Right. But I'm for legalizing all drugs.
You can't legalize all drugs, Tim.
Sure you can. Yeah.
You want me on cocaine right here, just sniffing it up? Seriously?
Man, if that's what you want to do, as long as you're not hurting somebody else in the process.
But that's the deal. Some of these drugs are mind altering. Marijuana is not one that I think is mind altering. Cocaine, speed, crack, fentanyl. You can't operate shit on these drugs, and you get out there and come on now, Tim.
I mean, you can't operate things when you're drunk, but that's legal.
Well, I mean, you can't operate them really well, but I mean, you can operate them a little bit.
You can't operate machinery very well.
You think heroin should be legal?
Yeah, for those that want to do it, sure. I don't see why it shouldn't be. Yeah,
there you go. Thank you, Amanda.
I mean, that's fine. This is my libertarian side. I believe that you should be allowed to do whatever you want to do as long as you don't hurt somebody else.
But the mind alteration causes you to hurt somebody else.
Well, then you're not doing something that isn't hurting somebody else. But you did that, not the drug.
Oh my!
If you abuse something, right? For example, you go to the casino, you drop some money or whatever, it's not a problem. But if you keep doing it and it becomes an addiction, then it's a problem. Then you can say, well, you're blacklisted from here because you're ruining your life, that sort of thing. And that exists. So, I mean, it could be, made illegal for some people, or at least regulated for some people that can't deal with it.
There's no way I would ever be a proponent of legalizing drugs across the board. There's no way.
I mean, that's liberty. That's freedom, right?
Hang on, pull up Dana Walsh's.
Let's see, but the hurting of other people can't be prevented after it happens.
There you go.
Well, sure, but look at alcohol tears families apart. My family is one of those examples. My dad was a drunk. He beat the shit out of my mom. She told him that if he didn't stop drinking, that she was going to leave. It pretty much screwed the rest of my life up. Alcohol, and it does that to kids all over the place. A lot of rape occurs against women because of alcohol, because these people get drunk and do things that they wouldn't normally do. Yet we as a society has said, well, that's okay. That's just something you deal with because, that's just people that can't hold their liquor. I'm sure we've all heard that. It's the same thing.
How much do you think that our ability to process liquor versus processing opiates has swung liquor to the forefront of you're not going to be able to ban liquor because everybody can make liquor. Not everybody can make heroin.
Well, everybody can grow, like poppy. You can grow the constituent parts of it. Sure. It's a plant. It has the same effects. They have trees also, a stuff called kratom. It has the same
We've talked
effect.
about kratom before, yeah.
Yeah, it has the same effect. I mean, but
if I put a bunch of cocoa plants in my backyard, people are going to fucking start showing up on my
here's
door.
the thing. So the heroin is a different version than what was natural. So if you take the plant itself and you chew its leaves or whatever, you still get that euphoric effect, but it's nowhere near as potent and or as deadly as, say, fentanyl. Now, fentanyl is ridiculous. Fentanyl shouldn't even exist except for the most serious cases. It serves no real purpose, in my opinion, unless you're on your deathbed. You know what I mean? Like you're a cancer patient and you're in the last week of your life or whatever. Yeah, cotton lobby has a serious hit. Yes, because you can use it for fiber, you can use it for clothing.
I don't have a problem with cannabis. I don't. But if you're talking about fentanyl, morphine, which if you had a cheeseburger from McDonald's and it was 10 milligrams of morphine, fentanyl is 10 of those.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Fentanyl that's a different story altogether because that is a ridiculous
and
drug.
Then Dilaudid is like outer fucking space.
Dana said, so then your stance is alcohol should be illegal then because it hurts people. No, alcohol shouldn't be illegal. I'm using alcohol as an example because alcohol is legal and these things still happen. So if we are okay with alcohol being legal, even though all of these terrible things happen to people because of alcohol, then that argument can't be used for other things just because we feel like it. Just because
I kind of agree with you on that point.
Yeah, I mean, alcohol is shit. We went through prohibition. Women caused prohibition, in fact, because they got so sick and tired of their husbands coming home, beating the shit out of them, doing all these crazy things, raping them, making asses of themselves, not bringing home money because some people just can't handle their shit. So they pushed for prohibition. They got it passed. And then look what all hell broke loose, right? I mean, what it did was it pushed it to the black market, which is what we're seeing right now with the drugs that are currently illegal. It's in the black market. So you have all these cartels down in like Mexico and South America and shit. That's how they get all their money. Can you imagine how much less money they would have if it was legal, if it was cultivated right here in this country and sold and regulated in this country?
Tim, you're just I can't even go there in my mind because
I know it's pretty extreme, but think about it.
It is extreme. I've seen the effects of these what they call Schedule 1 drugs like cocaine and fentanyl and opiates and stuff like that. It's just man, I can't even go there.
Yeah, so and you could even say that the natural portion of whatever drug, because they make it more potent, but I don't see any problem with somebody chewing on the leaves of a plant that gives them some kind of euphoria. Sure, they can still get hooked on it, but I mean that's an issue that they can deal with, and if it causes problems, I mean, so does a lot of other things. You know what I mean? People get addicted to the casino and spend their whole life savings on that stuff.
Why do you keep saying that? Because do you know I have a gambling problem or something?
Do you?
I do, absolutely.
Oh.
I had to ban myself from the casino.
Yeah, no, I use that because my wife works at the casino.
Oh,
so,
okay.
Yeah.
No, I had to ban myself from every casino in Oklahoma because I was like spending paychecks, son.
Exactly. And it's still legal because you have a personal responsibility. You have a personal responsibility to not do those things in a way that you shouldn't. And if you can't, for the people that can't, then you can go in and regulate it and help them fight that however it needs to be fought. But look, I believe it's Portugal. They had a really, really terrible drug problem, and then they legalized everything, or at least they said they weren't going to like start arresting everybody. It fixed it. Their addiction rates plummeted. I mean, it's yes, almost non-existent. So the proceeds they get from all the drugs and stuff, they were able to use for addiction programs and common sense programs where they will still provide you with this stuff and wean you off of it the way that it should go, because it destigmatizes the drugs, because a lot of problems that people have with drugs isn't necessarily that they have this addiction, but they can't talk about it because it's such a societal shunning thing.
Right.
You know,
and
people,
I don't have a problem talking about any of my addiction. I drink a little bit too much. I smoke, got a gambling problem. Oh shit. Amanda's falling in love with me.
Yeah, fentanyl is used to save premature babies. I don't know how exactly, but my husband is neonatal nurse practitioner. They use it.
No,
oddly enough, my grandpa who called me, man, he had a game. That's funny.
I mean, it's a real issue. I mean, it's just like, I mean, I would in 2008, I think I won like $84,000 from the casino. I won that, but I probably spent twice that.
Yeah, I mean, they get you. It's really easy to lose your ass, but but that goes back into personal responsibility. We all have, and you acknowledge that you had an issue and you fixed it, right?
Right.
You prevented yourself from doing it. So
it's the access to whatever you're having a problem with. With me, it was the access. So I had to cut off the access, whether it's drugs, alcohol, gambling, whatever. You have to prevent the access. And that's why making it legal to me doesn't make sense, because then you're just allowing somebody to have access where otherwise it would be more difficult, I guess. But cocaine is not regulated like the casinos and like liquor stores and stuff like that. So,
So, I mean, there's obviously going to be some people that won't be able to deal with it. But if we go back to like caveman days, if you couldn't fix a problem that you were having, you just didn't make it.
Right.
I mean, and
if you were causing a problem to the group or the tribe or the community, you didn't make it.
Right. And I mean, that's the way it goes. And, as a society, we've said that, we can try to help you as best we can, because your community is only as best as the worst of the people there. So, you either fix it or, what we do is throw them in prison. I mean, look at our prison population.
I know.
Good Lord. We've got the highest prison population in the world.
What's your take on government? What's your take on Governor Stitt's son?
I think Governor Stitt's son, my wife sent me a video today. Did you see the video?
Yeah.
I didn't watch the video. I just, because
body cam footage.
Yeah, I've been busy doing all this court stuff, so I haven't really been following along. So from what I understood, he was drunk, had driven himself there, had guns in the back of the car, right?
Right.
So there's a few crimes that were committed that night, but they weren't by Kevin Stitt.
Right. Thank you for saying that.
Yeah. But I say this about people who go after Joe Biden too. It's like, I'm just so glad we didn't elect Joe Biden's son to be president, because gosh, that guy's a crackhead.
But people are saying, well, it speaks to Governor Stitt's parenting and his character and how he raises children. No, you had a 20-year-old kid. Oh my God, I did so much worse shit than this kid did.
Yeah, kids are stupid.
They
do stupid shit.
And he didn't have the guns loaded. He wasn't shooting anything. He wasn't fucking with the guns. He just got pulled over, and he was public intox, 20 years old, whatever.
Right. And I believe the law says that you can't even be in possession of, or, is surrounded by firearms if you're intoxicated. And that is there for a good reason, because people that get drunk often do stupid shit. But that doesn't mean that he was doing stupid shit. It just means that he was there drunk with the guns.
Here's the thing about.
Yes, I believe he was arrested, wasn't he?
No, he wasn't arrested.
Oh, they didn't arrest him? He's like, hey, call my dad. My dad's the governor.
No, and, I mean, yeah, they knew who he was, but
he did say to call him.
There were 4 of them, and they let a girl drive them home that wasn't drinking. But there were 4 of them, him and his buddies, and they all got the same punishment. This is your first thing. No, you haven't had anything else happen to you. You have to go to an alcohol awareness class. You have to go to this class. You have to do community service. And if you fail this, then you get charged.
I agree with that outcome, but I don't agree with the way they handled the situation in that moment, because he should have been arrested. Everybody else would have been arrested. You or I, we would have been arrested. If we had been drinking and driving and had firearms, I fully believe that we
I have been drunk off my ass, Tim.
I said fucking bullshit and got banned from school.
But look at your eyebrows, dude. I mean, look at your.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
No, I don't.
Let's not give Bo another video to play in court, okay?
I'm just saying. I don't think. I mean, these are 20-year-old kids. They're out there fucking off. They're doing what 20-year-old kids do.
Yeah, true. But I still think they should have been arrested. And I feel like they got away with it because he was the governor's son, and I think that's bullshit. The same with Biden. I'm sure he got a lot of passes too. Hunter, I'm sure he got a lot of passes because of his dad.
Maybe I say that because I've used that too. I mean, my dad wasn't famous, but it's 8 o'clock. He was very wealthy.
It's 8 o'clock. We go.
Can you actually hear that over my voice?
Yeah, I could. Yeah, it came over. See, I don't judge Stitt for his son's behavior, but I think he should have had the same consequences as everyone else. One of my black students would have been arrested. Yeah, for sure.
Stop.
For sure. Probably would have been shot.
Shut up.
He looked at the gun case. Blam, blam, blam.
Stop. That's just liberal rhetoric.
Oklahoma cops are pretty bad.
Oklahoma cops are like, oh, he's black. I'm not going to go pull my gun. No.
I don't know. We saw. What was that cop's name? That woman. She shot that dude.
Betty.
And then, she got fired or whatever, and then the sheriff's office picked her up.
Yeah, Scott Walton hired her, which he should have.
What was her name?
Betty, Officer Betty.
See, I don't agree with it. I feel like she shouldn't be an officer.
She did nothing wrong, Tim.
She shot a man.
Her and another cop shot the man at the same time for the same reason. He just had a taser. He reached inside his window.
He reached inside it. Did he have a gun?
He was not obeying commands of the police, son. You can't do that.
That's crazy to me.
That's not crazy to me.
The government says if you don't
Shelby,
obey,
yes, Betty Shelby, yes,
we shoot you down like a dog. I've seen a video. Right. I seen a video of this guy. I guess he was shooting like a BB gun or something out of a window. Oh, he was a pest control guy, and it was one of his pest control guns, or he had it or whatever. So the cops get up there, and this dude is literally crawling on the floor, and these cops are screaming at him so hard. I mean, just yelling. I couldn't even understand what they were saying because multiple ones were given different commands, right? So he's crawling, but his pants keep coming down because he's crawling on the carpet, right? But you can clearly see his waistband, and there's nothing around, but his sweatpants keep pulling. So he keeps grabbing them, and then if you do it again, I'm going to shoot, and he's doing this, but the guy the whole time has been obeying everything. And he, it came almost halfway down. The guy reached down to pull his sweatpants up. He shot him like 10 times.
Where was this at?
It was in a hotel room.
I saw that video. I saw it. And it was a white dude that they shot, right?
It was. Yeah. Yeah. It's a problem with.
There are instances where cops make mistakes, like George Floyd.
Lots of them, yeah.
The one you're talking about now, the Betty Shelby, she did not make a mistake. The dude was high on PCP. He was not obeying any commands. And my parents, I don't know about yours because we were brought up different, but my parents always said if a cop tells you to do something, you do it. Don't do anything different. And my father, I was brought up around guns. Don't play with guns. Don't point guns. Don't even try to make a cop or anybody think that you, even if it's a toy gun, you don't do that. So there's a little disconnect between cultures. I understand. But if a police officer tells me to do something, I'm going to fucking do it because I know that I don't want to get shot.
Well, I think it's weird to me that our military has a higher standard than our police. Is that not weird?
Most of our police are military. What do you mean? What? I don't.
Because if they're in an area where they're not technically in war or whatever, they can't shoot at somebody unless they're being shot at.
Yeah, they have to have permission to shoot.
Right. So how is it that is okay, but when it comes to dealing with American citizens themselves, we're talking garden hoses. I mean, as a 12-year-old with the toy gun, you know what I mean, in the park. There has to be a line.
Let me ask you this: with the Betty Shelby, what was his name? Terrence Kutcher. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember. It's been a while.
So what you're saying is Betty and the other officer that shot him with the taser should have let him reach in the truck and grab a gun and shoot at them first. Is that what you're saying?
I think that they should have to verify that their lives were in danger before they put somebody else's life in danger.
And what does that mean? When were their lives in danger? When he wasn't obeying, or when he grabbed the gun and pointed at him and shot him?
Well, when he grabbed a gun and pointed it at them, then yeah, their life would be in danger. But up until that point, their life was not in danger.
I completely disagree with you.
I mean, that's my point, is that we hold police up in high regard, and for good reason. Obviously, they're, God, you watch any cop show, they deal with the worst kinds of fucking people. So, good on them for that. But they actually don't lose their life on the job as much as even truck drivers. Hell, I think taxi cab drivers are killed more while they're working than police officers. So, I mean, shouldn't we just expect that they are willing to put their lives on the line and to protect our lives? Because we have due process, right? And if you don't even get a chance to go to court, then is there due process?
If you don't want to lose your life and have due process to go to court, do what the fucking police say. When they say,
I don't disagree. I'm not going to disagree with you there. People should, but should the punishment of not obeying the government be death?
Yes.
They said that I was verbally harassing and intimidating.
When you say government, I'm thinking police. I'm not thinking school board. I'm not thinking city council. I'm not thinking Governor Stitt. But when we're in a dark alley and behind a building and I'm doing a drug deal and the police tell me to do something, I need to fucking do it.
Sure. But I don't think that the first option should be to shoot somebody. I think
maybe that wasn't the first option. Maybe the first option was to do what the police said.
Hell, we've got countries where their officers aren't even armed. Half their officers aren't armed, and we don't have as big of a problem. So
what countries?
I believe Britain. I don't know if they've started arming them, but last I looked, they're only certain officers in the ranks are armed.
I get really passionate about this. This is one of those things that you and I have always disagreed on. If you want law and order, you have to be able to say, do what you need to do to what?
We lose enough officers.
Oh,
Just
this is
stop.
all you. This is all
OMG,
you.
I can't with his comments. He needs to go ride with officers a few times. I mean, we lose truck drivers too. We lose, everybody has a dangerous job. I mean, and I think that's beside the point. My point being that I think that the job should be more dangerous than it is, than they are allowed to not let it be, if that makes any sense.
Say that
Because
again.
they're allowed to, if you don't comply and if you look as if you're aggressive, even if you don't have a gun and they don't find a gun later, these officers are getting away with shooting people, and that tends to be the first tool in their toolbox. And I don't think that's acceptable.
I
Personally,
disagree that that's the first tool that they reach for. I disagree.
I mean, if
with
that's
that.
the case, if they've expended everything else that they have in their toolbox, taser, billy club, whatever the case is, if they've done all that and the person still won't, then sure, I get that. But we're seeing a lot of officers that, well, I say a lot, but it's a very small number of cops that do this. It just seems like a lot because you see it on the news all the time. And I just don't think that that's acceptable. I think we can do better than that. I really do.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, that's what, but again, to Lisa's point, they deal with the shittiest types of people. So I'm sure after a year of being a cop, they're just like, oh my God, here we go again with this, another crackhead or whatever, and
I'm biased because I ran with the cops. I was a paramedic. I seen the shit that they deal with. My father was military and all that kind of stuff. So I have a lot more dealings with that type of thing. But yeah, you're never going to get me unless it's like a George Floyd case or something or the hotel case that you spoke about earlier, where it's just obvious that the police officers were acting out of fear and not, defending themselves or whatever.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what do you think? Because they had to rule in court that they couldn't shoot people who were running away.
I don't think anybody should ever shoot anybody that's running away. No, I don't.
Yeah. I mean, and that was a thing. How do you enforce the law looking at the stores in California that are openly being robbed? Time out. Well, no, I mean, you arrest them, obviously, but what they are not doing for those stores is actually enforcing the law. They aren't actually going out there and rounding these people up, and that's a problem. You don't have to shoot people in order to get them to listen. That's why we have fines and stuff. They don't shoot me if I'm not speeding or if I'm speeding. So, but I still don't speed because there are consequences outside of that you have to deal with. But and then that becomes like an issue, I think, where police feels like they're being shit on so much when people will probably think what I'm saying is extreme and hateful towards cops, but it isn't. It's just that I think that there is probably a wider gap that needs to be between the time that they shoot or not shoot. Right. I think there needs to be more clear evidence that danger does exist, but again, you're in a split second decision. It's hard to say.
I think that in any genre of work, police, teacher, paramedic, nurse practitioner, you're going to make a mistake as a human being. But when you make a decision based off of fear, then you have
adrenaline.
You have a few people that can't deal with that. Nurse practitioners stick an IV too far, kill somebody. Teachers getting too involved in the liberal leftist woke bullshit. I had to say it for you, Tim. So they derail some student into believing that they're a girl when they're really a boy. A police officer shoots somebody. You're going to have one or two people in every occupation that should not have had that occupation, in my opinion.
Right. And yes, you're absolutely right. And there is fear is good. Fear is what keeps us alive. But too much fear causes us to do stupid shit. And I think there are some officers that are just too afraid. And, you know, nothing against them. God, I'd probably be too afraid too if I was, you know, dealing with some of that stuff.
No, I wouldn't do it. I'm not that brave. I'm not that brave. You're not going to get me to go to fucking, no, I'm not doing it.
Fucking shootout. Yeah. I mean, some of the things we've seen, you know, and cops get away with some of the craziest shit in terms of like firefights that they have with people, and they don't get shot in those instances, but they're, you know, being shot at or whatever. So their job is absolutely dangerous and scary. And, you know, I can only imagine, but I do believe that there are instances where it's just like you couldn't have waited another 10 seconds to see, you know what I mean? Another 5 seconds. Because there was a guy standing on his front porch with a freaking water hose, got shot. It's, you know what I mean? And it's that kind of that. Maybe if that gap was a little wider, we'd have
fewer. That story. I want to read that story. There had to be more to that.
He was outside with the garden hose last. Of course, this has been years ago. Cop.
I haven't heard the garden hose. Amanda, that is not what Stitton Walters ran their fucking campaign on. It was one of the things, but it wasn't all of it.
All right, here we go. Let me pull this up here.
That looks like a gun, Tim.
It's a fucking garden hose, Ron.
Was it hooked to a garden hose, or was it just him holding that?
I believe that it was. I'm not 100%. Well, look mistook the water hose nozzle for a handgun.
Exactly. It wasn't hooked to a water hose. It looks like a fucking gun, Tim.
Well, they won $6.5 million.
I don't fault somebody for looking at that water hose and thinking it's a gun. If I'm a police officer, I don't.
They know that prosecutors declined to charge the officers, finding that Zerbe was in possession of an object believed by both residents and responding officers to be a firearm, and that the position of his arms was consistent with someone making a motion to point and shoot a gun.
Yes.
However, argued that officers were concealed and covered before they delivered the deadly rounds in the see, this is that moment. He was standing up with his hands outstretched, pointing the nozzle at police because he lacked hand wounds consistent with that position. Oh, experts testified that it was unlikely. At the time, authorities said that they were on their way to an apartment, sitting outside a friend's apartment, holding what police believed to be a handgun, pointing it to his side and waving around. The officers did not attempt to identify themselves to Zerbe, nor did they order him to drop his weapon. They requested additional officers, a police helicopter, and the Long Beach Police Department's over a garden hose.
No, it wasn't over a garden hose. It was over whoever this guy was,
dude,
walking around with a nozzle off a garden hose that looked like a handgun, trying to intimidate and scare people. That's what it was over.
I mean, it was a garden hose, though. So now you can't.
I don't give a shit.
You can't hold on to a garden hose.
You can't walk into a theater and yell fire, right?
Well, he wasn't yelling fire, and he wasn't in a theater.
But he was trying to scare the community. You know better than this, Tim. You know.
Maybe. So if you carry something that looks like a gun, you should die.
That's what my father taught me. Don't point something at somebody, even if it's not a gun.
I completely disagree. We're talking a garden hose.
No, it wasn't a garden hose. Nozzle. It was a nozzle that looks like a handgun.
Right, the nozzle off, and they never verified.
He wasn't walking down the street with a fucking green water hose, Tim. He was walking down the street with a nozzle off a water hose that looked like a fucking handgun.
Well, no, he wasn't. He was out in front of his house.
Ooh.
I mean, think about that, though.
No.
You can get shot and killed because you're holding something that looks like a gun, and the police never ask you to drop it. They never do any of this. They just shoot you.
He knew what I'm just saying. Off what you just read to me and what I saw, he should have dropped that and put his hands up and been done. But instead, he reached out. Yeah,
well, I don't know. It didn't say that. It didn't say all that in there. So I
don't know. His hands were extended.
No,
with the nozzle.
No, it says the experts found that wasn't likely based on the wounds. It says right here, Experts testified it was unlikely Zerby was standing up with his hands outstretched, pointing the nozzle at police because he lacked hand wounds consistent with that position.
I don't understand how that even makes fucking sense. What they just
Because
said.
however he was shot, it was unlikely that he actually had his hands out in the manner that they said that he did, meaning they lied. Based on where he was shot.
Okay, I'm gonna research that. We're gonna talk about that again because
Yeah,
unless he was shot through the fucking hands, I don't know what.
Let me get this. Let me get this. What is this guy's name? Let's see, Zerby. Zerby shooting details. Let's see. Yeah,
Dana wants to know why he needs to be watering grass in an apartment.
Yeah, I put that up there. Why shouldn't he?
There's no grass at apartments, and that's not his job.
You can't hold objects in this country
that look like guns. No, you cannot.
You can't. What state was this?
All of them.
What state was this? Let's see. Long Beach Police. Okay, so it would have been in
California.
California.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. California. Gun laws carry. And here's the thing: we've had people be shot with guns in their possession in states where you're legally allowed to carry a firearm. So, what do you do in those instances? Say Oklahoma, for example, a cop sees a gun and shoots you.
Well, I've never heard of a cop seeing a gun and shooting somebody.
I mean, this guy saw a water hose or a water nozzle.
He saw a water nozzle. I'll give you an example. I've been pulled over, and me having the training and the knowledge I do about guns, I've put my handguns on the dash before the officer ever walks up to my truck.
See, I don't even do that. I just play it cool.
No,
like this is fucking bullshit.
They have to see them in plain sight and know that you have them. And I've done that. And the cop has wrote his ticket or warning or whatever. And Muskogee back in the 90s. Absolutely.
I've never felt the need to do that. Though I did get pulled over once in Sand Springs, which actually pissed me off. I should have made a bigger fit about it. I was driving somebody home after work. She didn't have a ride. And he just pulled us over because we was in the area. I didn't do anything illegal. He's just fishing. He's like, well, it's this time of night in this neighborhood, a lot of drug activity. And I'm like,
he's got to get his quota somehow.
Did you see me smoking crack, sir? I mean, shit. You just pulled me over for no reason.
No, what do they call it? Their not their quota. They don't say quota anymore, but they have talked to somebody every day, or I forget what they call it.
I don't know. But the like stop and frisk or whatever.
They have to have contacts.
Where they actually,
yeah.
That's weird to me. But then again, there's always somebody doing something wrong. So I'm pretty sure that there's no shortage of people to harangue or what have you.
I mean, if you catch me between 127th and 145th on a Friday or Saturday, you're probably going to catch me doing something wrong.
Yeah, no.
But I'm not going to be holding a fucking garden hose nozzle that looks like a gun. I'll tell you that.
Well, I mean, if you could be
shot. Get shot. I should.
You better tell if I get shot with a garden hose, don't take them to court. I deserved it.
That's right. My dumb ass knows better than that. No, sir. I'll walk backwards all the way you want me to.
If he walked in the store and brandished a water nozzle as if it was a gun, my carrying ass would be protecting my life. I mean, it depends on what he's doing with it.
What the fuck do you do with a water?
Look at the tip of the water. Look at the tip of it. I want you to look at the tip.
That's what she said. That's what she said.
Now,
you can't tell.
I mean, Does it look like a gun? Yeah, but if you actually take a moment and look at it, it doesn't look like a gun.
Right. They didn't have a moment. They had seconds.
They had all the time in the world because it wasn't a gun.
Whatever. We're not going to agree on this.
Todd agrees with Dana. Yeah, I mean, we can pick apart every case on a case-by-case basis, but I don't know that that gets us anywhere. I think overall, they get away with shooting too quickly. That's my take on it.
I think that people who are breaking the law know they're breaking the law and they're trying to get out of breaking the law. So do what the fucking police tell you to do and take your consequences and don't get shot and killed.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, fair enough. Lisa says, kind of like when people put their hands in their pocket and hold their gun like they have a gun while robbing someone, they're implying they have a gun. If they got shot, they would be found to be unarmed. Their actions implied they had a gun. I mean, that's, it's a fair point. But if you don't see the gun, if nobody's been shot, I mean, where is the line? And I'm not saying in that example that it wouldn't be justified if everybody said, yeah, he came in here, he said he had a gun and he's, holding it in his pocket. I'm not saying that that's an instant where it wouldn't be okay to shoot the person.
Amanda, you're cute, but you can't be saying shit just because to be saying shit like that.
But those consequences are different if your dad is a governor.
Jesus Christ.
Oh man, I'm telling you, if that had been one of us, we'd have had taken a ride to the pokey.
We probably would have.
Yeah, most likely.
Probably would have.
It's the eyebrows, man.
I'd have rode with you. I've been like, no, if you're taking him, you're fucking taking me.
Like, this is a package deal. Yeah, if he gets arrested, I'll get arrested too.
Yeah. But you don't want to arrest me because my daddy's rich.
Be like, oh, my dad's the governor. They call Stibbs like, I don't know who the hell that guy is.
Yeah.
That'd be funny.
I'm native. I'm claiming McGirt.
Yeah. It is funny to watch, though, people that get pulled over doing something wrong and then try to like name drop, to get out of it and then still go to jail.
That's the worst thing you could do. Don't say anybody's name. No.
Oh, there's one video. Maybe I can pull it up next time. There's an Uber Eats driver who he's also an attorney, like licensed attorney, and these cops pull him over and are fucking with him, but they didn't have a reason to pull him over. And he starts talking to us like, oh, what are you, a lawyer? He's like, actually, yes, I am. Can you imagine pulling over Uber Eats guy, fucking with him, and then it turns out that he is an attorney? It's like
my favorite video like that is a law student that was pulled over in like a roadblock where they were checking everybody, and he rolled his window down like this much.
Oh, put his card out the door.
Yeah, he's like, roll your window down. He's like, nope, and he was just recording. He's like, what? No, he knew everything, and that is the law.
Yeah. Yeah, but they're gonna fuck with you.
They're gonna fuck you up.
They're gonna fuck with you because there are a lot of people that do those audits. Have you seen those online? The police audits. That stuff annoys me. It annoys me, but I mean, I get the point. But man, it's kind of annoying, when you got somebody like standing outside the police station, all they're doing is recording just to antagonize police to come out.
Well, I think enough shit to already fucking deal with. Right.
And then, but then the police, they just keep feeding into this shit and just keep fucking with them, So it's kind of funny. Do we need to meet Todd? We're as in sync as me and Ron. Yeah. You and Todd. We met Todd. I mean, I can't tell you who to meet or not to meet, but Todd's a great guy.
Todd and his wife are both really good people. They're
oh yeah.
People.
But see,
and they love Tim and I, so.
But see, people keep saying, "Oh, you're not a liberal." I've heard that several times. Yes, I am a liberal.
Yes, he most certainly is.
Yeah,
and you proved it here tonight, sir.
Yeah, I mean, I've got my things that I disagree with people on, but
And this is something
Trust
we
me.
disagreed on for years.
If you think the cops are too trigger happy, you should love it. Yeah, I mean, I watch them all the time. There's a YouTube channel called the Audit. God, what is it called? I don't know, but he basically goes through these auditors, their interactions with police, and then he pulls up case law and talks about the legality of what the auditor is doing. So he's auditing the auditors in their interactions with
Oh,
police. So then he grades both parties, both the police and the person that's auditing the police, which is just awesome, because he even breaks it down on a state by state basis, because every state's going to be a little different.
have you heard that they're bringing back what was it, cops or live PD or whatever?
Oh, yeah, I don't know.
I heard that they're bringing it back.
That's a pretty interesting show. Although they get to pick and choose what they show and don't show.
Right, yeah.
So
I
it's
mean, they got to sell the shit, but I mean, it's
I liked it. I liked
Yeah.
it. I thought it was a good show. I mean, I like cop shows. I like crime shows too.
Lisa, I don't know you personally, but I'm feeling like you got Leo in your
Let's see.
family somewhere.
Tim, I'm going to give you a little whatever. Some of the younger officers do seem to be quick to shoot. My husband was an officer for 20 years, said the same. They don't fist fight, right? Saying
Right.
that it's also the younger generation criminals. Yeah, I mean, and again, I'll say this is a small segment of police, but it looks like it's a bigger number of people. And it's hard to make a statement about those people without having the other side get on you about, oh, you just hate cops, or you know what I mean?
Or you
But
just hate teachers, or you hate
right.
doctors,
And
whatever. Yeah.
Yes. But it's just not, we're referring to these instances, and it's like most interactions with police all across the country are perfectly fine, and the police do a bang up job. I mean, hell, that auditing the auditors YouTube channel gives great grades to police all the time. There's some of them in there that are just phenomenal. They're right there with the auditors. They're, pro free speech, pro, ability to move around in public property, that sort of thing. So
You can tell that Todd and Lisa are Republican conservatives because they know where the new live PD is on.
you can never have too much GTA, Dana.
Man, I'm telling you, Dana, you're spot on right there. I love you. You're spot on.
Yeah, I mean, I wonder if that plays into, because I love GTA.
I think it does.
And I mean, I'd get those cheat codes where I get the helicopter with like the missiles and stuff, just. But I would never do that in person.
Now, here's the problem with GTA. My son will play GTA. He did, but we don't play it anymore because he got too realistic with it. He's like, I could do this to you, Dad, and I had to straighten him out. But yeah, GTA is awful.
GTA is pretty awful. It's pretty. I mean, you can actually hire hookers.
Yeah, you can hire hookers.
Right.
You can kill people. You beat the
Right.
shit. It's basically teaching you how to be a badass on the street. And these little 8-year-old boys don't understand that. I'm going to knock the shit out of you. Stop.
Yeah, it's pretty hilarious though. The game, like I enjoy playing the game. It's a fun game, just because you get to go and do just shit that you would never do in real life. But
yeah, we don't play it anymore at my house.
I wonder how detrimental that is to kids, because when we were younger, we had shit like Pong and
Mario Brothers,
Atari games and Super Nintendo, and Tomb Raider and shit like that.
Yeah,
right. So we didn't really grow up with that, so I don't know.
They
how
added
much
a
of that
lot
plays
more.
into it.
They added a lot more aggression into the games
and realism too.
Realism and aggression, yeah.
Yeah. So, and now you got that shit in virtual reality. I mean, that stuff's pretty. I mean, have you played with the Oculus yet?
Yes,
isn't it wild?
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's
my son is 9 years old, and he could probably jump out of an airplane, paratroop into Germany, and take over the fucking whatever right now because he plays Call of Duty and Oculus, and He knows more about M4s and shit than I do.
Yeah, the Microsoft HoloLens, I've been looking forward to that coming out on a consumer level because that shit will be great for education. So it's augmented reality. So you actually see everything, right? You see what you're looking at in your surroundings, but it places objects in your world. So you can actually get a video that will teach you how to like change the alternator, for example. You get up underneath there with your HoloLens and somebody somewhere else can circle the bolts, take these out, or it can, or it can give you like an image, a 3D image of it that you can walk around and look, and it will show you how to take it off and replace it. And the same is true for like anatomy. Imagine being able to just right in front of you, you've got the human body. You can go through all of the different systems, cardiovascular system, muscular system, that sort of thing. Let's see. When my kids were little, they wrote a 5-page paragraph essay trying to convince us to let them play GTA. One argument was they wouldn't go into the strip clubs. Now, I promise, Mom, we won't.
You might be raising Americans after all, Amanda.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Was the essay on their own, or did you tell them to write it? I'm laughing so hard. I love kids. Yeah, that's pretty funny. Come on, Mom. Please.
That is hilarious. I won't go into the strip clubs. Yeah, whatever.
Oh, that is.
They won it.
Funny. They won that argument. I'm liberal. It is for stricter gun laws that we've let our kids play violent video games. We just analyze them and discuss them. You just have to talk to kids. You have to talk to kids. Yeah, I mean, that's really what it boils down to. Unfortunately, there's a lot of parents that just don't.
Hey, ask her about liquoring and bickering.
Yeah, when are y'all doing liquoring and bickering, Amanda? Tell us. Feed us some intel. We need some more information about this. Because we don't do so much bickering, but we do have a little bit of liquoring.
Yeah, we got some liquoring going on.
Look how much is left, Ron. Do you see that?
Oh my gosh, you said that would last you like 5 months.
Yeah, well, I've been drinking like a glass every night, so
yeah. We need to have those ladies back on soon.
Yeah, for sure. Still waiting on an update, Amanda. Type faster.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know there's a bit of a delay. Let's see. Same as containing them in the car to discuss where babies came from.
Exactly. Yeah.
Nadine got a YouTube channel set up. Okay, sweet. Well, let us know. Yeah, let us know. Todd will show up and watch Amanda and Nadine. Now, you can't take our Todd from us, okay?
No.
I'm just going to say. You washing the dishes, man, you need to prioritize. Loudmouth is on.
That's what ladies are supposed to do, right?
Oh, America. You'll be our first. Oh, that's awesome. I'd love to be on there. That'd be great.
Oh, that was completely a joke. I do dishes all the time.
Oh, this is funny. Thank you for this, Lisa. He's going through a stressful time. Drinking is expected.
That's right.
It's been pretty rough.
It's been
in
rough.
moderation. I've had to make sure I, don't drink too much because, yeah. Besides that, I'm so old. Well, I'm to the point where the following days are never good after I drink. My hangovers are just, literally to die for.
You got to build up a tolerance for that shit, Tim.
Yeah, I don't want to. Oof. I don't know Amanda and Nadine, but I'll watch them. Also, if you're on, dishes are for the kids. Boom. Yes.
I was completely joking, Dana. You know I was joking.
That's what Todd is supposed to do, but gets nailed when he doesn't. Well, Ron, I'm about to head in and go chill out with the wife for a little bit. You got anything else?
I don't. I do actually. December 8th, I'm gonna be at the Bigsby School Board meeting. Are you gonna go with me down there?
Yes. And then I believe we are also gonna do. I'll have to look at the date again, but Stillwater. Were we going to go to the Stillwater one also?
Yes, Stillwater. I think it's the 12th or the 14th.
I think I remember the 12th. Yeah, let's see. Public School Board meeting.
Let's look it up real quick.
Let me see.
We're coming your way, Riley.
Second Tuesday of every month. What is this? November. So December 13th, 5 o'clock.
Okay. And the 12th, we're going to be here in Owasso
at 6:30.
Okay, so the 12th at 6:30 in Owasso, and then the 13th at 6:30 in Stillwater.
Yeah, that's crazy though that they have a special meeting at 5 o'clock, and then at 6:30 they have the regular.
Weird,
meeting.
Yeah.
That is kind of weird. Ask your wife if he does the dishes, or did you mean if she does the dishes? Great show, guys. Hey, thanks, Dana. Appreciate that.
Yeah, I love you, Dana.
Vandals in the house.
the 8th in Bigsby. We're doing the 12th in Owasso, the 13th in Stillwater, and then we got one either the 28th. I think the 28th in Tulsa. I'm gonna drag your ass to that one.
Are they on the 28th? Because I wanted to go to the last one, but I ended up not. I think that was the day after we had that celebration. Yeah, and I wasn't feeling so great. I'll just say.
I'm gonna get you there, Tim. We're gonna build your tolerance up. We're gonna get there. But I think the 28th is the next board meeting that we can make in Tulsa, and I think we need to go over there and say hi.
Yeah, we'll be speaking.
You know us. Come on now, we're loudmouths.
Yes, and this is I actually talked about this a little bit last night. This is something that Ron and I have been kicking around. This is a ripple at this point, but it's time to make this wave. Because now we have an example. Owasso set an example, and everybody else needs to follow it.
And it's not a partisan issue. You have a liberal and a conservative, just some dads wanting to protect children. So we're going to go on this mission.
The machine, Dana. You rage against the machine.
Rage against the machine. That's it.
You get the reference, right? Okay, thank goodness. I'm so glad to hang out with people that grew up with the same music I did.
I know.
Man, it's weird. Some people make me feel old, like if they're like 25, 30, and they don't, they hadn't seen Friday.
Right?
What? Have you not seen Friday? Right?
Amanda, we're gonna get up there in your neck of the woods too. It's coming.
School board tour, yeah, buddy. Yeah, we'll do our thing and hopefully
What's Tina saying here?
Let's see, post a schedule for school board meetings so I can see where you are. This was something else that we had planned out, and I how that will take effect. Did you ever get the Excel sheet?
No, I'm working on it. I'm working on it.
Yeah, because I've got a lot of court stuff I've got to learn, and
it's coming.
Tina,
so. It's coming. It's coming.
Yeah, we're Amanda's excited. Well, we'll let you know if we head out that way. We'll let you know. I'm
what
over
the
50.
hell, Todd?
You haven't seen Friday? Oh man. It may not be funny at our age now, a little slapsticky probably, but I need to know what shirt to wear. Ban porn, not parents. That's the one.
I know Stephanie Jane and her cohorts loved that shirt.
Oh yeah, they did. You sent me a post that they made. Those people need to they need to find something constructive to do.
He's talking about banning porn. I wonder how much porn he's watched. Why are you wondering how much porn I watch?
Why does it matter? I'm an adult. I'll watch as much damn porn as I want to. Ice Pick, I believe it. Ice Cube.
Oh my God, Todd.
They watched
so much dry. Porn. That was so dry.
That was pretty funny. I think. Is Ice Cube. All right, man. That's it. I'm gonna go say hi to the wife, and I will catch you on Thursday, and then we'll get this thing rolling next month.
Thursday is Thanksgiving. Are we doing something on Thursday?
Oh shit! Yeah, you're right. It is. So then no, because I'll be out of town. I won't even have internet access.
Do you want to try Friday?
Yeah, we'll tentatively.
We'll just get together. We'll figure it out.
Tentatively on Friday. So we'll post about it before we go live.
Okay.
Thank you, Loudmouse. I want to join some. Yeah, for sure. The more people we can get out there, the better off it'll be. On incognito mode. Shh, how did you know?
She already knows. Okay. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody. If we don't see y'all again, and be safe. And we love y'all.
All right. Peace out, everybody. Thanks for watching. See you next.